I'm 75 years old. I've spent my entire life asking one question. What do I actually believe? I grew up in a household where Sunday was not negotiable. My father was a deacon. My mother taught Sunday school. And I memorized verses before I could tie my shoes. Back then, life seemed so clear, so certain. But life doesn't care about certainty. It comes at you with experiences that don't fit neatly into the answers you were given. When I was 23, my best friend died in a car accident. He was kind, generous, better than me in many ways, and he was gone. Standing at his funeral, listening to the usual words about God's plan, I felt something I'd never felt before, anger. Not sadness, but anger, because nothing made sense anymore. That anger changed me. It pushed me to ask real questions. Questions that Sunday school never prepared me for. I read everything I could get my hands on. The Bible, the Quran, Buddhist texts, Hindu philosophy, even writings from people who didn't believe in anything at all. And what I discovered shocked me. Every single one of them held some truth. Every single one. I remember talking with a Muslim colleague late one night. We discussed prayer, charity, submission, compassion. And I realized the longing he described was the same one I felt when I prayed as a child. Different words, different rituals, same hunger for connection beyond ourselves. I know what some of you might be thinking. All religions are the same. It doesn't matter what you believe. That's not quite right. The differences matter. They represent different ways to understand the mystery of life. But here's what matters even more. Every religion, at its heart, comes back to the same truth. Love people, help people, be humble. Recognize that you don't have all the answers. I've seen religion bring joy and purpose, but I've also seen it used as a weapon. Families torn apart. Teenagers cast out for asking honest questions. Wars started, cruelty justified, all in the name of God. It breaks my heart every time. That was never the point. When I was 50, my wife and I struggled. Money was tight. I drank too much and I felt lost. One night I prayed, not in fancy words, not in verses I'd memorized, but simply, I don't know if you're there. I don't know if you're listening, but if anything real exists, I need help. I can't do this alone. The next morning, my neighbor knocked on my door. He didn't know me well, but he shared his own story, his own help, resources I didn't know existed. Was that God? Chance? Human kindness? I honestly don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. The older I get, the less certain I am about specifics. Heaven? Hell? Reincarnation? I don't know. Which prayers are right? Which day is the Sabbath? I don't know. And that's okay. Because I've learned this. The mystery is bigger than any of us, bigger than any book, any building, any tradition. And the right response isn't certainty. It's awe, humility, and wonder. I see young people leaving religion, and I understand why. They've seen judgment, hypocrisy, and hurt. And I want to say, I get it. But don't give up on searching for meaning just because the answers you were given were flawed. You don't have to follow every tradition you were taught. You don't have to accept all rules. But don't stop asking questions. Don't stop searching for connection, for purpose, for something bigger than yourself. That longing, that is human. That is real. I still go to church most Sundays. Not because I must, not because it makes me better, but because there's something about gathering with others, singing, sitting in silence, wrestling with meaning together. I also meet a Muslim friend for coffee every Thursday. I read Buddhist teachings before I sleep. I learn from atheists who think deeply about morality. The point isn't to have the right answers. It's to remain curious, humble, and kind. Every person you meet carries a piece of the truth, even if it looks nothing like my wife passed away 3 years ago. We were married 52 years. In her final week, she asked me, will I see you again? I said, I don't know, but I hope so. And if there's any justice, any love at the heart of the universe, then yes, I have to believe yes. Faith, hope, denial, maybe it doesn't matter. What matters is how we treat people because of what we believe. So stay curious, stay humble, love people, help people, be kind, and keep asking the big questions because that's what makes us human.s.